Do you plan to have your own video production studio? How to find new visual and text effects? How much client work in a day is optimal for good, healthy workflow? And why can't I land clients on Upwork? All those questions and many more coming up on the 5th Q&A Sunday. Boom, what's going down, guys? Welcome back. If you are a freelance video editor, a freelance videographer, a freelancer in any niche, in fact, this Q&A is going to hold mega value to you. We focused heavily on the freelancing questions, and it's going to provide a lot of value. If you're completely new to the channel, my name's Jack. I'm a freelance veteran. I was a full-time freelancer for 5 years, touched hundreds of remote video editing projects, many real-life videography projects, going out there, filming a music video, filming a nightclub. I teach people in my private members community, Video Production Plus, how to do the same, build a full-time freelance career. Link to VP Plus down below, and let's start the Q&A for freelancers. So first things first, let's kick it off with a big one, the one that I've used for the title of this video. Everyone needs to get value right away. Why can't I land clients on Upwork? Upwork is a game that has been reduced to a cheap place to find work. A lot of people that I talk to, they're getting fed up of Upwork, and the reason for that is because the sad reality of Upwork is over the years, the prices have gone lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. The reason for that is because of a massive influx of people in countries like India, lots of places in Southeast Asia. The cost of living is simply lower there, which means the rates they can charge for the same services you and me might charge here in Europe or America, wherever the case may be, is far lower. That's caused the rates to drop drastically, which means if you are trying to go after work on Upwork and you aren't in a place like Southeast Asia, it might be a little bit tricky to land work that is of significant rates. Upwork is part of the strategy, aka check it every couple days, see if you can find a decent offer there. Do you plan to have your own production studio in the future? Sammy, I'm not too sure, man. Long story short, no, I currently don't have a production studio. Do I want to set one up in the future? Possibly a Video Production Plus community hub or house. We'll think about that. I'm not too sure. Maybe. How to find new visuals and text effects. Very simple, my friend. I'm going to go ahead and shamelessly plug Video Production Plus, my private members community. We got a premium assets section. We've even got a discount section. You go to the discount section. It's the single biggest discount for Envato Elements in the entire world. You can now get VP Plus Envato Elements for the same price you used to just be able to get Envato Elements for. How much client work in a day is optimal for good and healthy workflow? That really depends on each different person. I would go ahead and say that's definitely a case-by-case basis. When I was early on my come up, I was in my office every single day, 19 to 21 years old. I'd fill my day with as much as I could possibly get, right? I was down there for a good 8 to 10 hours. I was putting the shift in. I was making YouTube videos. I was editing YouTube videos for clients as well. It really depends on what stage you're in the career. When I was early on in my career, I went super hard on anything I could get. And then as my career began to mature, I started to cherry pick projects a little bit more. But certainly when you're starting your career, I suggest you do as much as possible. Doesn't matter if it's healthy or not. If you don't, people like me will probably take that work from you. It's just the sad reality of competition in a highly competitive market. What did you enjoy most about freelancing? So freelancing enabled me to go and work for myself and create my own schedule and, kind of report to nobody. That's a little bit of a contradiction because of course I reported to my clients, but it's a much different relationship managing multiple clients and still having the ability to say, okay, no, you're giving me a little bit too much, attitude. Maybe I'm going to push you to the back of the list and we're going to get you out. We're going to replace you with a new client. When you have a job, right? If your boss is, getting a little bit lippy with you, it's a little bit trickier to go get a new boss. Whereas I've got 4 or 5 clients on the go at one time. One of them starts getting a little bit lippy. No problem, my friend. This is not what I'm here for. I'm going to go ahead and phase you out. I'm going to go ahead and replace you with someone else who's a little bit nicer to work with. Could you build a sustainable income out of short form content alone? Or would you recommend expanding into long form content? 100%. Of course, you can build a business around short form content. However, I need to approach this from 2 different aspects. Do you mean a YouTube career out of short form content or a freelance career editing short form content for someone else? For short form content, 100% you can make a living on YouTube. It really depends on your strategy. Other people are doing it. You can do it as well. Really depends on your strategy. Now, in terms of freelancing, I'm not hypothesizing. There's many people who have a full-time career inside Video Production Plus simply editing short form content. The reason for that is because of a massive explosion in the past few years. Dudes like Tate, dudes like Iman Gaji pushing massive amounts of micro content, massive amounts of shorts, and it's compounding at an alarming rate. In fact, if you're an influencer and you don't have a micro content strategy, you're kind of irrelevant in this day and age. As a creative, what do you do to deal with lack of inspiration and energy to work even when there's a lot to be done? Speedy Blaze, my friend, your why must be strong. When I was freelancing heavy, I knew that doing this was leading leading me to the next thing. The harder I did this, the quicker I got to the next thing, right? Which meant I wanted to do it a lot. I would really take the kind of Mr. Beast philosophy. I've heard him talk about this. Turn up as many days as you can possibly turn up until you feel burnt out and you take a day off. What is your process to edit faster without losing quality or precision of the edit? Two things for you. Number one is presets. If you have a good preset strategy, you're going to be able to speed up. AKA, if you've built a video one time, the second time, you should look to automate as much of it as possible. Maybe there's specific text effects you can create presets for. Maybe there's transitions. Number two, muscle memory. A huge part that made me a faster editor was simply building videos over and over and over again. The first time you're kind of slow, the second time slow, the 253rd time you're very quick at editing. How long should a show reel be? Is it okay if it's only about 20 seconds? If it's 20 seconds, make it as impactful as possible. AKA, it should end with a cliffhanger. It should end reeling them in a little bit. It should end with an email or a phone number or some kind of like call to action because it's quite short. It's safe to assume they would have watched the whole thing. It should be high intensity because you see some people come out the woodworks with like a 3-minute, 30-second show reel. I don't think many clients would make it the whole 3-minute 30 through that show reel. The 20 seconds, they probably could. What's the best subscription plan for video templates and musics? Artistly, Envato, Motion Array. I'm gonna go ahead and plug Envato Elements. I have a premium subscription to Envato Elements. They've actually hooked this up in Video Production Plus with their biggest discount ever. You can get 70% off your first month. That's only to people in VP Plus. We got the biggest Envato discount in the world. You can get Envato plus VP Plus for the same price you used to just be able to get VP Plus for. But I endorse Envato because they have the most stuff. They got sound effects, music, they've got video templates. I highly endorse Envato. Been using them for years. I just want to know, what should I charge for my first YouTube client because he will be my first customer. Like, what should I price myself? How should I charge him? Blah, blah, blah. Listen, dude, first customer or not, are your skills there? If your skills are there, then you're providing a solid service, which means you need to be paid a decent rate for that solid service. If you had never mowed someone's lawn before and went over to someone's house and mowed their lawn, came up to their door and said, listen, I mowed your lawn, it took an hour and a half, can I get 10 bucks? They'd hand you 10 bucks, right? Certainly you have to understand that you're providing a service, which means it's completely normal to now be paid for that service. You need to decide what's your hour worth, times your hourly rate by the amount of hours it took, and that is how you land on your price. Your best tip for a growing editor, I'd say practice as much as you can possibly practice. When I was coming up as an editor, I had one major thing on my side. I wasn't doing it for a career. I was 12 years old, just actually coming up as a video editor, creating passion projects. I'd go out with my friends, we'd do a stupid skit that we just recreated. I was just in the game, refining my skills. So by the time I was 18, 19, and it was time to freelance and make money from it, I'd already built up these skills over years of practicing just fun projects on my own. So your tip to grow, enjoy the craft, man, and just turn up every day, refine the skills. One day you wake up and you can make a bunch of money from these skills. Say you create a portfolio without clients. Now, what can you do to approach someone to hire you as an editor? A portfolio isn't necessarily something you've been paid to do. A portfolio is a showcase of your abilities. If the Twitter page you use to reach out to people has examples of your work, that's your portfolio. To some people, when they're up and coming, I don't even advise them to make a portfolio. So what we do is we get people to create the value first approach and approach with a custom sample for that specific person. How to edit like Iman Gaji. Watch Iman Gaji, try and copy the effects. It's really simple as that. Like, dude, part of the creative world and the creative industry is taking inspiration from others and reinventing it in your own way. Certainly, you're not going to get into the habit of building new styles and creating completely new effects. You're probably going to get more into the habit of having a look at what's working, seeing the stuff that you like the look of, and reinventing it in your own way. What advice can you give on keeping your audience engaged and attentive with a slow-paced video? Do you think projects of all kinds are forced to be more fast-paced to grow and keep your audience's attention? Fast-paced is just a way to keep people flowing through the video. Storytelling is something you need to learn. If you are able to tell a good story and there's progress being made and they're getting new information and they're, slowly progressing through this journey, you'll keep their attention with a slow-paced video. Do you script your videos and go with the flow, especially with the long tutorials? Or what are the best tips to avoid burnout? Scripting-wise, I do a basic bullet point list. Keeps you flowing. If you forget what you're talking about, boom, you look over to the side. There's a bullet point that gets you back on the right track. And what are the best tips to avoid burnout? I'd say touch some grass, so to speak. Go hang out with some friends. Go hang out with your girlfriend. Go, on a hike. I would like to learn how to keep my audience engaged by the way I talk, etc. The long answer, unfortunately, is to get good at anything, you need to practice it and refine it and get better through building momentum and just trial and error, which means you have to do it for a long period of time. If you want to get good on camera, start talking today. The more you do something, the better you get. It's called natural progression. What's the proper way to approach or obtain sponsors on your channel? Does your channel make sense to advertise on? My channel is based around video editing, videography. It's a niche. There are video creators on my channel. That's the people that watch my videos. So So if a video production based company is thinking, where should we run an ad? It makes sense to run that ad on my YouTube channel, so they give me $1,000 to go and do the sponsored post. The way you get sponsors is you target people who want to advertise to your niche. If you have a general entertainment based channel, it's a bit trickier to land sponsors. You have to get, Raid Shadow Legends and all those random video games and stuff, because there's no necessary perfect match for your channel. In an age where attention spans are decreasing, how can video editors improve their attention span, especially editors who watch Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts to learn to edit them? How can you increase your attention span? You need to do things that promote increasing attention span. Reading is something that's tough for me. I know that if you decide to watch TikToks and Reels all day long, you're going to be gaining worse attention span, right? You're going to be losing your attention span. Read a book, put down the TikToks. What is some decent editing software that doesn't require an internet connection to edit with? No editing software on my best free video editing software list requires an internet. You can download it onto your computer, you use it offline, and it's a thoroughly enjoyable experience for all. Anyways, that right there's the video. If you guys enjoyed Join Video Production Plus, you made it to the end of the Q&A. Why aren't you inside Video Production Plus? It really doesn't make any sense. I've been waiting for you personally. You haven't joined. You're making me cry. I go into the bathroom every single night. I cry myself to sleep in the bathroom. I don't know why. Super uncomfy to sleep in there. Anyways, on the screen right now is another video. Click this. This is the last Q&A I did. If you enjoyed this, you're probably going to enjoy this as well. Click it, and I'll see you there.